information that I think that you're gonna love it. So let's hear from it from our street interviewer, Matt. Hello Wanderer, yes, as you all know, a group of aliens arrived in Totana last week, and to give them the best possible welcome, the Santa Eulalia school is already preparing for the arrival with a series of activities and games that the children themselves are creating to show the aliens our wonderful city. Now we will talk to the teacher in charge of it and some of the students. Let's see. Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Alicia and I'm the teacher that created the project TOT-01. This project purpose of this student is based on gamification. Through these activities, a student will be more conscious of their city in a creative and motivating way. To carry out this project, they will use 3 different digital tools. First of them, Cody for create a tour of the best place of Totana. Number 2, a skating route made with Geniali that they are going to create some clues in order to have the title of the best Totanero. And the third one is a stop motion telling about the history behind Totana. Now it's time to describe my students. The group consists of 27 5th grade students between 10 and 11 years old, and they are highly motivated to show their beloved city to the aliens. They are also drawn to game-based activities that provide real learning for themselves and for those who participate in the game. The curricular goals that we are going to achieve is City 1, 2, 4 and 5 because the entire proposal used digital tools such as Geniali, Cody and stop motion. Also STEM 3 for programming and computational thinking for Cody, CCEC 1 and 2 because the project explores the culture, history and heritage of Totana, and CPSAA 3 for collaborating work groups challenge, but we can find others like these ones in here. Also, my students are a group of students motivated by teaching about their culture and environment, and furthermore, these students have an average level of digital skill, that is, they know how to use tablet, but will need guidance to learn for programming. To start with, we asked Grok to help us imagine an example of this purpose. Thanks to the comprehensive prompt we provided, we've developed a Grok proposal that perfectly suits our needs. An active learning projects where students research the history, traditions and culture of Totana using digital tools. However, some sections of this proposal are simplified, such as inclusion measure and digital security. Therefore, I would adapt this proposal with some modifications. Now it's time to explaining the real project. All this project will be accomplished by a detailed and comprehensive explanation from the teacher. To complete the activities, the class will be divided into 3 groups of 9 students each. This group will rotate periodically so that all the students engage with all the 3 digital tools. Ultimately, each group will present the 3 completed projects to the aliens. The group will be heterogeneous in order to promote inclusion, cooperation and peer support among students with different learning needs and abilities. Furthermore, several adaptations will be implemented. Furthermore, the evaluation of this project will be the same for everybody, as it wouldn't be fair to make it differences, but each digital tool has some specific questions to evaluate that specific digital tool. The first part consists of an evaluation rubric that you can find in here, which assesses the following parts. Following the teacher assessment of the content, a student will also participate in a self-assessment and a peer assessment process that this encourages development, critical thinking skill, responsibility and constructive evaluation. Now you can talk with the real star of this activity, of course with their parents' permission. Hello everybody, my name is Luna and I was in charge of the first of the Cody task, and thus this was the different tasks we have to do after our teacher explanation. First of it, we research and get information on cultural and significant places in Totana. Number 2, we select 6 key points to develop. Number 3, we find out what action the robot can perform. Number 4, we plan the map based on the function of the road capable of. Number 5, we prepare an explanation of each of the selected monument. Number 6, we program the robot with the challenge and action is must perform to reach the next monument. Number 7, test its functional and correct any errors. Number 8, show you work the aliens. And number 9, create the portfolio where it includes the information below, and send the auto-evaluation and co-evaluation questionnaires. And here is our project. You can find the photos link and the information of each place in the script. The app that we are going to use is called mBlock, and first of all we have to know how it works. First, we want to know when Cody is going to start doing that movement. So we have to choose when it starts moving or when we want to press A, B or C button. That here we can change what we do. And we have other commands, but we are not going to use it. To put it here, we just have to hold on and drag up into here. And when we don't want it, just to drag up again and put it into the bin. Next, we have emotions, the Cody size, the illumination, the action, and the speaker. So action is what we're going to use most for when we want to Cody move. And when we want to do, for example, to move forward, we just have to drag up into here and we can change, for example, 20% or during 3 seconds. Welcome to the tour of Totana by Cody Rocky. This is just one example of what kids can provide and can make. It's important that the activities that are asked to make with Cody Rocky begin with the easiest one to the most complicated one. Also, as you can see, Cody have to go from the number 1 to number 2, the number 2 to number 3 to following that to do the tour, and then they have to make a specific prompt that the student choose. Then they receive this card that you can see there, with that the explanation of that specific part of Totana. The role that we take, it was an active role as programmers, designers and researchers analyzing the Totana area, selecting relevant location and translating the route into programming instruction for the robot. In this way, they weren't only reproducing information but also transforming it in a logical system. This process develops problem-saving skill through trial and error and collaborative work as they design, test and improve the robot's functionality. Using this digital system, the T within Pickrad is applied, meaning transformational, since we are using methods that wouldn't be impossible without these digital tools. Instead of memorizing information about Totana, we are reinterpreting it and transforming it into a program system, which implies a profound challenge in this way. Cody Rocky is an intuitive tool that allows students, that means us, to quickly engage with programming, meeting the easy of use criterion. It supports different entry levels, through it may represent some accessibility limitation because it requires a physical robot and an app, which can limit scalability and requires teacher supervision. However, it is highly secure and it does not require accounts or personal data and does not allow user interaction, making it safer and pedagogically valuable tool for developing computational thinking. Using programming tools like Cody Rocky present a significant challenges, as most of us are not accustomed to use programming tools, which can lead to frustration when we can get the robot work correctly. To maintain our motivation, a level-based progression is proposed, so we understand the basic and then move on the more complex prompts. Based on the ACAD framework, within the studied aspect how tasks are structured, students translate a real-world environment, a tour of Totana, into a logical system of interaction, developing computational thinking and problem-solving skills. On the other hand, in the social aspect, how they group, cooperative work is carried out with defining roles, programmer, designer, researcher, fostering good communication. And within pedagogical design, it is determined that it is a game-based project where the teacher takes on a passive role. Furthermore, in the set design material use, I use Cody Rocky along with physical maps created by me, integrating digital and hands-on elements. Hello, my name is Lucia and I was in charge of the escape room genially part, and this was the task that we have to do. First, inform of how the app works and how the escape room can be carried out. Design the different challenges, question codes, riddles, all related with Totana. Taste it and improve a mistake, suit it to the aliens, create the portfolio where it includes the information below, and send the auto-evaluation and co-evaluation questionnaire. Now you can see our game, and if you want to play, the link is there. Let's see our game! Now it's time to explain you how I did this presentation. First of all, we'll have to look for in Genially the escape room template. So we have like a base and we have to work with that. For example, mine, I have to change some vocab and to make it accurate with my topic, which is Totana. And then, for example, I'm going to show you what we can do with the images or with the text, or in general the main idea of the project is that you can choose to animate, that means how do you want the photo appear or the text in that slide. And then we have interactivity, that means what do you want to happen when you click on that image, text or whatever. We can choose to open a specific window, specific slide, to have some extra text, to reproduce some audio that you can record it by yourself. We can have this part that is the one that we have seen before. And in general, it's kind of easy to know what do you want to happen what do you want to do for each slide. And now I'm glad to present you a real Totana escape room experience. Here it's really quickly in order just to show you a quick idea and the main ideas of the project, but if you want to play, you can click in the link in the description or in the script. During this part, you can see that if I choose the incorrect option, there is another slide where it says that it's incorrect. Like in here, that if it's correct, it clicks, but when it's wrong, you can even put it in the place. And then when you click the correct code, you receive this passport of secret agent. To begin, we all begin researches by gathering all possible information for the challenge. We don't just copy, we reinterpreted the data obtained to design the game. In this part, we plan, organize the exercise in a logical sequence and make decisions regarding the type of question created, difficulty, order, codes, etc. In this activity, the students we take an active, interactive and creative role, not only participating in the game, but also designing our challenge and narratives. However, from the Big Red model's perspective, the impact of technology is at an amplification level, at A. The escape room tool stands out for its functionality and ease of use, allowing for the integration of different formats and accessibility from multiple devices, although it depends on some perspective design. However, it presents privacy risks by requiring accounts and storing data on external services. So while it is very valuable from an education perspective, it needs appropriate security measures. Now it's time to talk about problems. One of the problems that can arise with this task, it becomes the project is gamified. Now it's time to talk about difficulties. One of the problems that can arise with this task is that because the project is gamified, we can focus more on winning than on understanding the content. Therefore, the tests must be designed so that they necessarily demonstrate their understanding of the answers. In this way, gamification becomes a means to learn, not an end in itself. And now I'm going to show you the message that the teacher sent to our parents about this specific task. Now it's time to talk about the GAT framework. Epistemic design includes the creation of questions, challenges, problems, and in general text that requires comprehension. Social designs, on the other hand, foster collaborative work in designing questions, template, and structure. Regarding pedagogy design, where the project promotes the teacher becoming a guide and a facilitator, and the students becoming the protagonist and taking an active role. Finally, set design utilizes an interactive digital platform with multimedia elements. Hi everybody, my name is Leo and I was in charge of the stop motion part. First, we do some research to find the history of Totana. 2, we create a script where it all specifies the dialogue, the narration, and the magic shown. 3, choose the characters and what they are made of, modeling clay, cardboard, paper. 4, plan the scenes. 5, record the stop motion. 6, edit the video and add in the voice off. And 7, show their classmates an alien. 8, create the portfolio where it includes the information below. And 9, send the auto-evaluation and co-evaluation questionnaire. And then I'm going to show you my incredible stop motion about the history of Totana that you can also find on the link below. Now it's time to explain the stop motion app, how it works. First, we're going to choose how we want to show our project. For example, mine is going to be cinema, just for the example, but you can choose whatever you want. And for example, with my bedroom stuff, we have to press in the camera and then press the red button for each of the photos that we want to make. It's important that you see that it takes the photo, you can see it pretty well. And then, for example, this kind of pictures, now we press in here to see if we like it and it's what we want.
And in that case, we go here to the principal part of the app, then press it down and unlock in your mobile phone.
The regions of Totana date back to prehistory, with humans present since the Paleolithic period at various sites in the area. Over time, the territory evolved, with important settlements such as La Bastida, one of the most significant sites of the agraric culture in Europe. In the 13th century, the Christians conquered the area. Totana kept under the jurisdiction of the Order of Santiago for centuries. The population lived between Aledo and Totana, but Aledo was considered safer due to its higher elevation. At the end of the 15th century, people began to move down from Aledo to the valley below, driven by the more fertile land, weather, and better living conditions. This marked the beginning of the nucleus of present-day Totana, which grew up from agriculture and artisan village. First, by gathering information about the history of Totana, we become researchers and information gatherers. Later, we act as audiovisual media creators, script writers, designers, and editors to communicate our project. Thanks to the stop motion, learning is performed by allowing us to create audiovisual narratives. This digital tool is key to photographing and assembling the chosen story. Using this tool allows us to combine creativity, storytelling, and technical skills in ways that would be very difficult without technology. Creating a stop motion is a highly creative project. However, it requires significant planning and production image, which can make it difficult to implement it in a primary school classroom. And now I'm going to show you the message that the teacher sent to my parents to talk about technology. Regarding the academic framework and the epistemic design, because the children articulate the history of Totana through creativity, at the social level, they should work in groups and teams to divide the work. Furthermore, the set design requires the use of digital series and physical materials to bring this character to life. Finally, this activity is based on active student participation and a gamificated project where the teacher acts as a guide. Now it's time for the part 2 of the exam. Talking about two related to theoretical conceptual knowledge, first of them is connectivism. That the official definition is connectivism is a learning theory designed to explain how individuals acquire knowledge in the digital age, emphasizing the role of technology in shaping learning process. And the example that why is useful, when I first used ColorRocky, I needed more details on how it works than the explanation provided. So I searched it online and found some great videos that helped me understand them. Because when I need more information, I'm not limited to just one sources. I can connect with other people. When I don't understand something, I can turn to other people or resources and solve problems faster. On the other hand, we have project-based learning. The official definition is that is a highly effective pedagogical approach designed to promote student-complete projects that reflect real-world problems or challenges in order to apply what they have learned in a specific context. An example is that I just gave my student a unit that I consider difficult and I'm not 100% that they fully understood it. So I propose that they create a project in groups based on that topic. And talking about two technology instrumental knowledge, first of them is the TPAC. That is the acronym for Technological Pedagogical Context Knowledge, which studies the integration of technology in education. This model is based on the combination of three variables in which every teacher must be trained: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. One example would be that in my teaching I must be mindful of how to use this knowledge, if not just for decoration. It's a powerful tool that helps me. For example, to help children understand the concept of space, they will watch an interactive video, created a digital more a simple presentation, and explaining a part of space using drawing or photographs. And the second one would be MOOCs. The official definition is MOOCs, Massive Open Online Courses, that are online educational programs designed to democratize access to high-quality professional knowledge. An example would be that sometimes there are very interesting concepts in my degree that I'm not allowed to explore in depth. Thanks to these courses, I can continue my training and learn about things relevant to my real classroom. For example, I want to delve deeper into inclusive education, so by taking a MOOC, I can learn much more. And now it's time to talk about my PLE. First of all, we're going to talk about Create, that I use my master. I use my master to create a diagram with the collected information of the spotter instead of just Canva. With this app, I can organize much better my information. Now for communication, number 2, rotating presentation. The presenter remains in one place while the audience moves from one presentation to another. It will be it's super helpful and it will be really dynamic and active during that lessons. Number 2, for organize, teach competencies are the key digital competencies needed for teachers, providing guidance, analyze my skill. Thanks to this, I can analyze what kind of teaching style I'm going to do it and how I can make it much better. Number 4, to publish, we have Blogger or work and access data for all the groups. There is where we publish. And Cloud, in the medium and long term, I believe my PLE could evolve incorporating artificial intelligence assistant like Cloud. I use Cloud because one of my projects I discovered how helpful is it. Including this type of technology in my PLE will help me continue developing my skill as digital learning environment evolve in the future. And that will be for search. I will give myself an 8.5 in this course because I believe I work very hard and constantly. I also actively participate in group activities, and thanks to this project I learned a lot about digital tools and new ways of learning. Although I know I can still improve in some areas, I am satisfied with the effort and work I dedicate to this course. At first, the most difficult thing was understand what the roles require of me for each specific task. However, once I work through all of it and investigate about it, I understand everything. The most challenging role for me was the translator, even though I didn't think about it. Demonstrate voice sources are verified and correct was really difficult. In fact, this helped me with my critical thinking. Thanks to this process, I learned to analyze my sources much better and further develop my attention, critical thinking, and patience. And last but not least, regarding artificial intelligence, I use tools like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini to begin structure my response and understanding the task in depth. However, although AI is a very useful support tool in today's society, I believe that critical thinking and the human factor are still essential. That is why my project is focused on Totana and its tradition, because I think education should not forget local culture, personal experience, and human connections. For me, the important thing is finding a balance between technology and humanity, using AI to support learning without leaving behind what makes us humans.